Doc, thank you. Registrar, members of faculty, leaders, good morning. And how are you doing? First of all, I want to say a big congratulations to you all. First, to my brother, the Member of Parliament, Dr. Kisi, who is always talking about things that he wants to do to empower, particularly the young people in this constituency. I think the last time you were talking to me about the fire safety and its related matters, and then this particular engagement as well. And you've been chasing me for some weeks now to be part of it. And I want to congratulate you for always keeping an eye on wanting to do things for the young people. I think that's the way to go. I also want to thank the university for all the good work you generally do, and specifically for making space for us to engage with your community today. And then I want to congratulate you who are here today. You could have spent your morning doing many other things, especially in this weather. You could have spent your time doing a lot of other things, but you have elected. Why are you laughing? But you have elected to be here and to be part of this, and I think you should give yourself a big round of applause for this. I want to just make a few remarks, and then I will beg to take leave of you and rush off to Parliament also to do a few things. And I want to make three main points, and then I will wrap up. The first point I want to make is that despite the difficult times in which we live, the Ghanaian economy is expanding and creating opportunities. And I'll take time to explain that. Despite the difficult times in which we live today, the Ghanaian economy is expanding, creating opportunities. It is true that times are hard. Anybody who tells you that times are not hard is not telling you the truth. Times are hard in Ghana, in Nigeria, in South Africa, in the UK, in the US, in China, in Australia. Times are hard all over. This week in the US, for the first time, the US Army is flying around the world for baby formula, infant formula, baby food, to fly into the US. Why? Because they are short of baby food in the US. In the US, one of the conversations they are having is that for the first time in so many decades, inflation has reached where it had never reached before. In the UK, they are having a similar conversation that inflation has reached where it has never reached before, I think in about 40 years. In Ghana, inflation today is at 23.6% or so. It has never been this high in 18 years. There are parts of the world that today, if you went to the market to buy oil, cooking oil, you will not be allowed to buy more than 1 gallon because they are afraid they are running into shortage. There are fears that very soon it may be difficult to find bread on the markets in parts of Africa because wheat, a good chunk of the wheat that is exported around the world no longer be exported because of some issues around the Black Sea area, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Fuel prices are going up, so transport fares are going up. Once transport fares go up, it affects food prices. Once food prices start going up, everybody else starts increasing their prices. I heard a story of a girlfriend telling her boyfriend that you can't still be giving me that same amount of money, because everything else has gone up. But it is true, therefore, that times are hard globally as a result of some things. And as I'm sure you being in the academic community, you have read or you have followed, two major things have hit us in the world. One was an unprecedented pandemic, and the effect was that lockdowns happened. You remember the time that we were all saying, they should lock us down, they should lock us down. Do you remember? Do you remember? And many other parts were saying, lock us down, lock us down. Well, the effect of a lockdown is that productivity goes down and supply chains. So somebody manufactures a car, but that car requires a brake part from some factory somewhere. So once they are lockdowns, the brake pad cannot come, the steering wheel cannot come. If you order the car, you can't get it. If you order, today if you look at the inflation figures in Ghana, one of the things that is contributing, I think item number 2, is the cost of imported electrical gadgets, phones, televisions, radio sets. Why? Because the little parts are no longer being manufactured at that same quantity in some of the factories in Asia. So COVID is home. And then you have the conflict in the Black Sea area. The combination of this has made times hard. That's true. But despite the fact that times are hard, the Ghanaian economy is still expanding and is creating a lot of opportunity for those who can spot the opportunities and take advantage of it. Last year, Ghana's economy grew. While everybody's economy was still struggling, Ghana's economy grew by about 5.4%. Do you know where the bulk of that growth came from? Do you know where it came from? Agriculture. One of the things that a lot of people are planting and is getting a lot of export into West Africa, it's in other places, is maize. Ebro. So the Ghanaian economy is expanding, and it's expanding both in the public sector and in the private sector. And my second point I want to make is that there's a lot of expansion in the public sector. How many of you have started noticing that now the government announces that we want to recruit more people into police, immigration, fire, and all of that. And now you see a lot of people who are showing up at the stadiums, etc., hoping to be recruited. Have you noticed that? It is a sign that gradually the public sector is expanding. And what used to happen at first, where we had a freeze in public sector recruitment, is now turning around. And gradually, some young people are getting jobs in the public sector. Has everybody gotten a job? No. Can everybody be recruited there? Obviously, that cannot be the case. But at least you are beginning to see an expansion in the public sector. Few teachers here, nurses here, soldiers here, police here. Gradually, the numbers are going there. If there were 1 million of us who were at home, and even 100,000 of us get an opportunity, we are no longer 1 million. Of course, there are more who are graduating, like you, who are coming in to look for jobs, and so those numbers will go up. But gradually, the sector is expanding. And for those of you who are in school, if you have built the right skill set, right, if you are putting up the right attitudes, chances are that no matter how limited the space comes up in the public sector, if you have the ability to participate in those recruitment exercises, you may get some opportunity there. My point number 3, which is what I'll be ending on, is that the biggest expansion, the biggest space is in the private sector. So times are hard, the Ghanaian economy is expanding, the public sector is expanding and gradually taking some of us on. Obviously not all of us, but some of us are gradually getting space there. But the biggest space for the majority of us is in the private sector. That's my third point, and that's where I want to focus on. You know, the Ghanaian economy, the Ghanaian people, traditionally we were all entrepreneurs. People who move from parts of the country to other parts of the country to acquire land and farm huge hectares of cocoa farms. So in those days they would say, oh, the wealthiest were our farmers, and then those who got involved in trade. In fact, if you study the history of Ghana's political independence, the people who supported the fight for independence were the farmers and the traders. You would notice that they were those who had capital to be able to support the fight for independence. The Ghanaian economy was an entrepreneurial economy. If you go to parts of the country, to the cocoa areas, you go to the areas where cocoa is grown, you go to the coastline, you will find that the Ghanaian economy was an entrepreneurial economy. Traditionally, what we were doing is that we either go to the sea or go to the farm and produce so that we could get people to buy, and that's how wealth was created. In 1844, when we signed the bond of 1844, and the colonial government started its, may I say, operations, then we started something we called Aban Ejuma, public sector work. So gradually, over the years, many of us have sought to get involved in Aban Ejuma, and our entrepreneurial spirit, our entrepreneurial abilities have been dwindling. Well, I have news for you. What the state believes in is that we should reinvest in our entrepreneurial ability so that the private sector can do what? Expand some more. Expand some more, create some more jobs, make some more incomes of and incomes. What do? Improve their quality of lives. And so we are trying to encourage as many young people as possible to go into entrepreneurship. And it's part of what we've been talking about here today, even before I came. Entrepreneurship has 5 pillars that I want to leave you with. Under my point number 3, 5 pillars that I want to leave you with. And I quickly want to hit on them so that if you forget anything at all, don't forget these 5 pillars of entrepreneurship. Number 1 is value. Value. And it's a simple question. What value do you create for us as a society, as a community? What problem are you solving for us? What opportunity are you helping us to take advantage of? Because it is when you're able to create some value for us, solve some problem for us, help us to take advantage of some opportunity for us, that will do what? We'll pay you for it. So sometimes we will carry all the books that we are studying, Adam Smith and somebody else, all the economists in the world. And a woman who probably has not been schooled realizes that when these 25 young people come and sit here and study, they need water to drink. True or false? They need lunch. So I have not studied economics, but I know that they need water, they need food. So while they carry all the books for Adam Smith and come to read, I'm going to provide them with what? Water and food. At the end of the day, you will probably be spending and she will be making what? Money. She's providing value. She's solving a certain problem. She's answering a certain question there. So I ask you, for many of us who are going through all of this academic exercise, what value can you see around us that you can create and get paid for? That is the first pillar of entrepreneurship. What problem do you solve for us? What opportunity do you help us take advantage of? In fact, even when you are looking for a job, the question is, what value are you bringing to the organization? What problem are you coming to solve for the organization? It's not enough to say that I have a first degree or I have a master's degree. The question is, what value are you bringing? And if you can answer the question of value, you may not even need a job in someone's organization. You can actually create that value and get paid for it. So the first pillar, which we used to do before 1844, which is gradually going down, which I want to remind you about this morning, is value. What question are you answering for us? What solution are you providing around us to the many issues around us? If you can do that, it doesn't matter how rich or poor a background you come from, how educated or uneducated you are, whether you are Christian, Muslim, Fanti, or you are Hindu or Ga. It doesn't matter. Once you can solve a problem for us, once you can help us take advantage of something for a reward, once you can answer a question that we collectively have, that we come to class and we need water to drink, and you have figured out that if you bring a nice chest of water, at the end of the day, you will make an extra 10 cedis for today. Once you can figure that out and begin to create that value, that's 50 cedis a week. That is 200 cedis a month. And maybe if you could create some more value, it will no longer be 200 cedis, it will probably be 2,000 cedis a month. So instead of being the one who is spending, you are the one who is doing what? Who is earning. The second thing after identifying what value that you create is, I come across a lot of young people who say, I have a business idea. I want money to go and do it, but the banks don't want to give me money. Have you heard that story before? Oh, I'm not feeling your vibe. Have you heard that story before? Yeah. Problem. Ghanaian banks, they won't give you money. You see, Ghanaian banks, they take my deposit, my small deposit, then they put an ATM machine and give me a card. When I need the money, I can go and check it out tomorrow morning. So if you go that you want 20,000 cedis as capital for your business, it will not be fair to their business model for them to give you my small savings, which I'll go to the ATM card tomorrow, to the ATM machine tomorrow with, because possibly by the time I go, the money is with you and you are doing your business and you are having problems maybe, and the bank will be in trouble. So Ghanaian banks will not be able to give you capital for your business. One of the stages many of us miss in business is what I call the proof of concept stage. So you have an idea. How are you proving to us that that idea works? Because not everything you think actually works. My first business I did, I used to print writing pad, scarf, and polo shirts for my classmates in Pope John Senior High School. Proof of concept that because we are going to Ntako, when you print the scarf, the way the boys will buy, the way the girls from some of the nice schools want to get a Pujoba scarf and go and show a Pujoba. So I'll get a good market there. But it's a proof of concept. You need to first prove the idea that you have. And that's on a large scale. You need to buy 10 machines or 15 machines to be able to do it. A small proof of concept to show that the idea that you claim you have, actually, it does what? It works. It is a step that many of us miss. So the second pillar of entrepreneurship that I want to remind you about is proof of concept. Whatever idea you think you have, is it water, is it food, is it whatever it is, my scarves or writing pad, prove that concept. Ask yourself, what solution can you give to some of the little problems around us? What value can you create around us? And when you have answered that question, can you prove the concept? Can you try it? Point number 3, I'll end very quickly. You are now ready to get an investment into your entrepreneurial idea if you have been able to figure out the value and you have proven the concept. And actually, it is way easier than many people think it is. Many people want to go to the bank or to some institution to look for money. I want to tell you that one of the first places to get investment into your entrepreneurial idea is somebody, you know, like they say, who do you know? You've heard that expression before. Actually, the expression is who knows you. Who knows you and believes in you, so that if you take 5,000 CDs or 10,000 CDs to take that thing that you have proven to the next level, they will be willing to invest in you. And where are you putting yourself so that somebody will know you and be in a position to invest in you? Sometimes it's a church group in which you are, and you participate in that church group extra curriculum activity. And the value system that you demonstrate, somebody in that group knows that this young man, this young woman, oh, she bakes. I know her, she sews. I know her, she does wigs. I know her, she does this. I know him, he does shoes. It is that person that when you have shown your concept to, that this was my idea, this is my proof of concept, I need about 20,000 CDs to take it to the next level. It is those kinds of people who will do the first level of investment in your business. Check with any very successful business person. Value, proof of concept, and then investment from what they call family or friends, or some people add a third F to it. But if you have not decided on the value and proven the concept, and if you have not put yourself in a position where somebody has seen your work, young man, young woman, where somebody knows you and can believe in you, that, oh, this young man, we were doing a project in church, it was a church excursion, and we gave him the money, and he meticulously handled it and made accounts. This is somebody with integrity that if I have noticed that he carves something or he buys carved things to sell and he needs 15,000 CDs, maybe I don't have 15, I have 5, but I can talk to 2 other people, 5 each, and we can invest in his business. But my colleagues, if we are not putting ourselves in a place where we are deciding value, proving our concept, and putting ourselves in a position where somebody can know our value and invest in us, we'll be in trouble. One of our challenges as young people is a growing challenge. Too many of us, we are looking for money too quickly. So even when somebody says, do something for me, the first question is, Nani kura kura, anything. But I assure you, it is that ability to be of service to somebody, usually in an extra curriculum space, that will make that somebody invest in you. I'll tell you a story about a young man whose business I invested in. I didn't know him from. One day, I needed a photograph taken. And I said, can we get somebody to take a photo? They said, there's one national service person here. He likes taking photographs. He had identified the value that he creates, and he had been proving his concept. So people about it. I said, find him for me. He came with some perpetual camera like that. Says, sit down. I sat down. He took the photo, bam, like that. Very good photo. Later, when the photo went for what they were looking for, a lot of people were like, oh, but this photo is very good. Which studio did you? I said, it's not a studio. It's a national service boy around here who did it for me. Where is that guy? So they found him for me. I said, tell me about it. He said, oh, he studied banking or finance in school. Nothing to do with photography, but he identified that his area of skill was photography, and he had been proving the concept. So, you're doing very well. So what would you like to do with it after your service? He said, well, I'd like to open a photography company. So maybe, boss, don't pay me salary. Buy me a camera of and I can use the camera to take your photos, and weekends I can go and do photo shoots for weddings and other things like that. I said, you're really a man. I'll invest into your business. Supported him, he built his little business, and today if you see any photo of me going or any video of me, it is him and his company, his team. They are doing it. They chose their value, they proved their concept, they put themselves in a position where I could believe in them and invest in them. That's point number 3. It is when point number 3 has been finished, somebody has invested that 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, and so the business is rolling, that you are now ready to do what we call scaling up. That is where you have a story now to go to a financial institution and show them that 3 years ago, this is what we started. And we proved our concept. And Mami Kwame Manse's son and this one's daughter and my women's fellowship leader and one of my supervisors in the office put together some 15,000 to invest in us, and this is where we are. Now we are looking for 120,000 cedis to scale up and get to the next level. That is when institutions will begin to believe in you and put in you and scale up to the next level. Scaling up is necessary, but it comes after the first 3 things have happened: value, proof of concept, and investment. And then the very last point. One of the problems with Ghanaian businesses is that when the entrepreneur dies, the business does what? It dies. The reason very often is that a lot of Ghanaian entrepreneurs don't build institutions out of their business, institutionalize the business, so that even when you are not there, some people have been empowered to take a decision and act. The business still goes on. When you travel out of the country, the business is an institution and can function. And so if God blesses you and you get to that point, please never forget that. Encourage yourself to build an institution out of it, so that even when you are not there, you can sit home and the business will still run and make profit and bring you some of the profit at home for you to chop small. The Barclays brothers who started Barclays, they are no longer involved in it, but the institution is running. Some of the best institutions around the world, they are still running today because the people who started it chose to institutionalize it, build systems and processes that work, regardless of they as individuals. And so, Honorable Member of Parliament, if you invited me here today, my simple submission has been to my colleagues, point number 1, that times are hard globally, but the Ghanaian economy is expanding gradually. It is those who are able to look out for the opportunities here in these difficult times who make it out of these difficult times. Number 2, the public sector is expanding and creating some more jobs, but not all of us will get space in the public sector. God bless you if you get space in the public sector. Try and put yourself in a space where you will be recruitable for the public sector. But number 3, even if you don't get space in the public sector, there's more space where in the private sector. And to execute and succeed in the private sector, I've been sharing with you 5 quick principles of entrepreneurship. Value. What value do you create? We are all carrying our books to go and learn, but we'll drink water. Can you identify that value and create that value for it? What problem do you solve for the community? Can you identify it and solve it and get paid for it? Proof of concept. When you have thought about that thing, how are you proving that concept and showing to us that this idea that you have, it actually works? Investment. How are you putting yourself in a position where somebody knows you and believes in you because of what you have demonstrated around, that they can invest something small to kickstart that proof of concept? And then finally, when you have done or gotten that investment, you are ready to scale up. Demonstrate the story to somebody who can help you to scale up. And finally, if God has blessed you and you're successful in that area, I want to encourage you to institutionalize. Build an institution out of this idea, out of this business, so that even when you are not there, that business will continue and will help us to employ a lot more people out there. I wish you all the best. God bless.